WCBI News at 6 starts now.
Good evening, everyone. A former Eupora High School teacher accused of misconduct is now facing a criminal charge tonight.
This is an update to a story we first brought you Friday. Kayla Tyndall was arrested this afternoon. WCBI Scott Martin joins us live from Webster County with the very latest. Scott.
Yeah, Andre and Joy, we're actually right outside of the Webster County Sheriff's Department. Now, the MBI confirms to us that that former teacher is now charged with statutory rape. Now, we're also told that she is out on bond tonight on a $50,000 bond. Now, Webster County Superintendent Brian Jones, he sent out a statement last week to WCBI saying that they first learned of this alleged misconduct about Thursday of last week. Now, once administrators learned about this possible misconduct, they began investigating immediately. Family members of an alleged victim, they also tell WCBI that a teacher was paying for sexual favors. Now, this, of course, is all under investigation. The MBI, the lead agency on this investigation. Again, Kayla Tyndall, a former Eupora High School teacher, now facing a statutory rape charge. We'll, of course, continue to follow this developing story. For now, we're live in Webster County. Scott Martin, WCBI News.
A Choctaw County man is facing a murder charge after a body is found in a river. Choctaw County Sheriff Brandon Busby says 39-year-old Charles Cox is charged with murder. Cox was officially charged today. His bond has not been set. 53-year-old Jimmy Threadgill's body was found in the Big Black River Canal in Montgomery County. Busby did not say what allegedly connected Cox to the homicide or if he knew the victim. Deputies in Montgomery and Choctaw counties have been investigating the case along with the Mississippi Bureau of Investigation. Threadgill's death remains under investigation.
A bill making its way through the Mississippi legislature could make paddles a thing of the past.
Yeah, corporal punishment is only allowed if the parent of the student gives permission. House Bill 12 would ban the concept entirely. Our Stephanie Poole visits a school today that still uses corporal punishment. She joins us now in the studio. Stephanie?
Yes, paddles are still in play in the Noxubee County School District, but administrators are working on ways to steer those students down the right path by rewarding good behavior so they don't have to punish the bad. For years, students who misbehave in school generally face three options: detention, suspension, or... But that method could soon be history. Recently introduced, House Bill 12 would remove corporal punishment from public and charter schools.
Children will behave the way they're allowed to behave. When classroom management is not in place, children will get out of control.
Rodriguez Broadnax is the superintendent for Noxubee County School District. He says the district is working on a way to discipline students before turning to the wooden paddle.
We are currently looking at new disciplinary measures, implementing a new positive behavior intervention supports system for all schools at all grade levels.
First grade teacher Valerie Franklin says she sometimes resorts to corporal punishment as a consequence for bad behavior.
And you also have to realize when you get to school, the teacher is the parent. And they're all my babies, so I have to treat them just like I treated my own children at home.
Franklin also offers a point system to help students stay out of trouble.
We have a ticket system and we give them 5 chances. And if you do good, you can go back down to 0. But if you keep being bad and doing the same thing over and over, you get to 5, the teacher has the authority to paddle you.
Third grade teacher Sharita Hibbler agrees.
I don't use it often. That's something that I don't rely on, and I really hate when it comes down to where I may have to use corporal punishment.
That's why Broadnax is depending on staff and faculty to improve student discipline.
Things should work out okay, because as long as students are engaged in the classroom, as long as they're performing well and classroom management is at a high level, we wouldn't need corporal punishment.
The bill has been referred to the House Education Committee. We will continue to follow its progress through the legislative term.
Well, it's a balmy spring evening. No, it's February. It's winter, but it's still very warm out there. Look at these numbers right now into the 60s. Wow, still upper 60s. We have a warm southerly breeze out there. We stay in the 60s tonight. A few showers possible in the near term. Better chance for maybe a few more storms across northwestern parts of Mississippi later this evening. You can see some of those starting to blossom up there near Oxford and Ripley. Most of us not seeing anything but the cloud cover, but an isolated gusty storm can't be ruled out across the northwestern areas tonight. But really, lack of unstable air, lack of wind energy will likely put a cap on that. So the big story is going to be the severe weather threat tomorrow. We're still warm, but there will be some strong to severe storms around. We'll have more on that coming up.
Well, social media has been playing a major role in addressing concerns and new ideas for the city of Starkville.
But a recent pitch from the mayor to former Mississippi State quarterback Dak Prescott on Twitter about a new sports bar is dividing folks in the city. WCBI's Bobby Martinez talks to the mayor on the power of the platform. He joins us in the studio.
Guys, Starkville Mayor Lynn Spruill has embraced social media since day one. She finds it a good way to keep in touch with the city's residents and a way to get new ideas out there. Twitter notifications have Starkville Mayor Lynn Spruill working overtime, but she doesn't mind. To her, social media is a platform that allows her to address numerous people from the palm of her hand.
Because you can help people in ways that you might not have been able to before because you've got so many platforms to use.
And for the mayor, social media is a two-way street. She not only takes the time to address all who reach out to her, but she also pitches ideas to the public. Most recently, to former Mississippi State quarterback Dak Prescott.
When I touched base with Dak, I was thinking about, Drew Brees has walk-ons. So I thought, that'd be great. Bring Dak back, And so with the name recognition that he has, and that's nationwide. That's really just not here. But of course, we feel like he's ours. He's a hometown boy. So that was kind of how I played with that.
Spruill took the time to read all of the responses. She also answered them, leaving many divided on the new idea of a sports bar in the city. Audrey Jordan says for the younger crowd in Starkville, there's not much entertainment.
In Starkville, there isn't as much to do. It really would be great to have a local bowling alley again, or maybe just some social groups that plan outings in and around Starkville.
As for Audrey's husband,
I think what Starkville needs, if we had more bars, I think they should be more geared towards recreational bars, maybe with ping pong tables, shuffleboard, that kind of thing. I think something also like a musical venue.
Tyler Jones is on board.
I don't think they have enough to do. I mean, you have this bar right here that has just popped up in the recent years that everyone seems to go to. You got Hobie's down there that only sells beer. I mean, what is that?
Spruill says in order to bring any type of entertainment to the city of Starkville, businesses has to first make sense financially.
Rebuilding efforts are underway for Gums Crossing Bridge in Yalobusha County. Supervisors say a crew from Lafayette, Louisiana began to test drills under the bridge today. Workers are drilling the holes to see how far they'll have to drive pilings for the new bridge. The data collected over the next few days will be sent to the engineering firm the county has selected to rebuild the bridge.
Instead of a 35-foot span, which we have a piling every 35 feet, and it's always been bad about catching drifts, logs, things of that nature, we're going to expand it out to 105 feet. Hopefully everything can drift on through there while the lake is low.
Crews will continue doing the test drills until Saturday.
Well, for residents there in Yalobusha, Grenada, and Calhoun counties, Gums Crossing was not just a bridge, really it was a lifeline for them. Right now, first responders and school buses have to drive hours out of their way just to reach the Grenada Lake community.
Yeah, after the bridge collapse, area businesses and churches have also struggled to hold up. Our Cash Matlock has more on the story.
Parker's Grocery, more recently named Double L's, was a booming business for more than 30 years. Located in the peninsula between Gums Bridge and Graysport Bridge, Parker's store was a one-stop shop for locals and traveling crappie fishermen. What was once a community hotspot is now an empty building.
Well, it's just cut their sales down. We didn't have the traffic through here.
It's absolutely disappointing. I mean, nobody wants
to see that, but it's a byproduct of the traffic flow. When the traffic stops coming, they can't sustain themselves.
Charles Parker has also been a lifelong member of Pine Grove Baptist Church, just down the road from the store.
One-way trip is 41 miles now for them to come to church.
Pine Grove has a congregation of about 50 people. About 1/5 of attendees live north of the closed bridge.
And it's just cut us plumb off. It's not going to help us any because we're not going to bring anybody in from that way.
Unfortunately, this is an issue Pine Grove and other area churches will have to face for a while.
There's not a day that goes by that I'm not in any community, even on the north end, that asks me, hey, what's the update on the bridge?
Yalobusha County District 1 Supervisor and current board president, Casey Washington, says it will take years before the bridge is open again.
We've looked at alternatives. Unfortunately, given the constraints with the floodplain, it's next to impossible to come up with anything even at a temporary. We're talking to our congressmen, to our state legislators, and to the powers that be in Jackson to get us the support that we need to make this happen.
Supervisors say they're hoping to have a bid on the reconstruction of the bridge by February 2021.
In law enforcement, training is key to success, even if you are the boss.
When we come back, we meet a top cop who's going back to class.
You're watching WCBI News at 6 with Andrea Self and Joey Barnes.
Welcome back, everyone. Law enforcement officers in the state of Mississippi must pass state-mandated training.
For newly elected Monroe County Sheriff Kevin Crook, there are some refresher courses he's taking, but as WCBI's Allie Martin reports, the sheriff is going beyond what's required.
We see that as cadets of Class B-64 learned about defensive tactics, Monroe County Sheriff Kevin Crook was also learning the same training.
Effort to lead from the front. You know, we get our sheriff certification, you know, in a different way, but to be a certified law enforcement officer again means something to me. It means something to my guys.
Crook served as a deputy with Monroe County for 9 years before becoming a justice court judge. The refresher courses he needs are primarily classroom courses, but he also knows the importance of being ready for any situation. The sheriff says the training is tough, but vital for any officer, especially those starting their career.
They've been encouraging to me just to see them. Brings back a lot of memories of how hard it was going through this in the first place.
Defensive tactics training is physical and demanding. It's meant to prepare officers for situations when a suspect is aggressive. In fact, much of these specific techniques can't be shown to the public, but it is a way for an officer to regain control of a situation using less than lethal force. For our story, I was asked to play the role of a suspect attacking a police officer. Instructor Derek Nelson demonstrated one way to stop a belligerent suspect. Sheriff Crook is glad there are expert instructors in the area.
I probably wouldn't have been able to do my refresher training if I would have had to travel somewhere else, and then I've been just extremely satisfied with the amount of training, the level of instruction that the cadets are receiving, that I'm receiving here in Tupelo.
The sheriff will also be drilled on firearms training later this month. In Tupelo, Allie Martin, WCBI News.
Now, one of the cadets in that class will be going to work for the Monroe County Sheriff's Department.
All right, I'm going to say, based on that video, don't make Allie mad.
I guess not.
Stay away from Allie now, right? Yes. All right, so we have some storms in the forecast for tomorrow, and if we do have some severe weather coverage here, of course, we'll be following it, and you're watching TV right now. This is always a good place to get that information. We'll do some Facebook Live coverage. Our mobile app has the live broadcast, also WCBI.com/live, and you can go to our app as well for Apple and Android and submit your storm reports if we happen to see any active weather. We'll talk about what we are expecting.
Your WCBI First Alert AccuWeather forecast with Chief Meteorologist Keith Gibson.
All right, friends, we do have some active weather to talk about today. More clouds, but still very mild. This is our time lapse from Tupelo today. The passing clouds Some showers this morning, this afternoon, not a lot of rain activity out there, but we've had some rain around in the region. And as we check out our live radar, you can see Ripley, Holly Springs, Oxford, back to the northwest. There is some rain and maybe just a few isolated sprinkles elsewhere. But that's what we have right now. We'll be watching the northwest for a few stronger storms perhaps later on tonight. We have a weak system that will brush by the region tonight. That's this first area of low pressure right there. The one we're really concerned about is that one out there near El Paso, Texas. That will swing on through the region tomorrow on the heels of this very strong dip in the jet stream. Look at this thing. That will blow that system through here tomorrow and tomorrow night, and that is why we are anticipating the risk for some strong storms. So here's our forecast for Wednesday. Mid to upper 60s north, low 70s south, mostly cloudy, areas of showers initially, then some storms during the course of the afternoon. We'll wake up to some rain in some spots, but I think we'll have a little bit of a lull going into your lunch hour, midday. By mid-afternoon through the evening, a chance for some rain and storms. Some of those could be strong to severe. The overall severe weather threat should be done by midnight. That's the way it's looking. Mississippi and Alabama, all of this yellow, this is a level 2 risk on the severe weather risk scale. So we have that potential going for us tomorrow. The limiting factors include the unstable air. Will we see enough to support widespread severe weather this far north? And also, will we see coastal storms develop down here right along the Gulf Coast? If those were to develop, it could limit the moisture transport back to the north where we live, of course. So a couple of different variables we're watching out for here. We will definitely have a lot of wind in the atmosphere. Low-level winds not too far above the surface, zipping on through over 50 miles per hour. That can spin some of these storms around. And that is why we are concerned about some wind damage potential, tornado potential. We're going to keep that in a low category, but that could be adjusted upward just a little bit depending on things as they come together tomorrow. We'll watch it. Hail, can't rule that out either, but I think wind and flooding or heavy rain and wind, that would be the main threat here. We may see 1 to 3 inches of rain with this whole scenario. So this evening, you can see the showers beginning to bud up here across northwestern Mississippi. Again, can't rule out an isolated strong storm up in here tonight, especially northwest of the Golden Triangle area, but I think the better odds of any strong to severe storms will come tomorrow. We should wake up to fairly benign activity on Wednesday. Have the umbrella with you. We will definitely see storms throughout the course of the day. By 3 o'clock, we may see a cluster of storms or two move on into the region. That could line out here and then blow on through tomorrow evening. And it looks like by midnight, the severe weather threat will be shifting more so into Alabama and away from our area. We will have some showers linger here for your Thursday with some cooler air rushing on in. We mentioned that rain potential anywhere from about an inch to maybe over 3 inches of rain as this system comes on through here. So very warm and spring-like tomorrow. We'll have that risk for strong to severe storms. Cooler 50. That's it on Thursday with some showers. A cool day for us. And then we'll see some showers possible Saturday and maybe some more rain and thunder next week.
Well, I know you'll be watching it.
Of course.
I would keep saying that, you know.
We're watching. We've got a plan in place. The weather team will be fully staffed tomorrow.
And we'll all be coming out of the newsroom every 15 minutes going, what's happening now?
Yes.
What's happening now?
That really
They'll be coming right in that back door.
We will. All right, the Bulldogs get ready for one of its biggest tests of the season, taking on Kentucky. More before the matchup next in sports.
WCBI Sports with Tom Ebel is brought to you by your local Ford dealers. Go further.
National Signing Day less than 24 hours away. Mississippi State makes Mike Leach's first staff as the Bulldogs head coach official. Taking a look at the offensive side of the ball, all of these coordinators joining Leach from Washington State. Eric Mealy taking over the running backs position. Mason Miller on the offensive line. Dave Nickel, the inside wide receiver coach. And Steve Spurrier Jr. handling the duties of outside wide receivers. Then on the defensive side of the ball, defensive coordinator Zach Arnett. Defensive coordinator previously at San Diego State was going to join Syracuse before the Bulldogs convinced Arnett to come on over to Starkville. Tony Hughes retained from the previous staff. He's associate head coach as well as nickelbacks coach. Matt Brock joining Leach from Washington State. He'll be a special teams coordinator as well as outside linebackers coach. Darcel McBath, cornerbacks coach. Jeff Phelps, defensive line coach. Both of those joining Leach from Washington State as well. Jason Washington, who will coach safeties for Mississippi State, was the previous cornerbacks coach for the University of Texas. Mississippi State will take its 5-game SEC win streak on the road tonight to a place where they haven't won since the 2009 season. The Bulldogs go on the road to Rupp Arena, taking on the 15th-ranked Kentucky Wildcats. John Calipari and company have won 13 straight against Mississippi State, and the Cats have won 11 straight in its home court. Ben Howland says playing Rupp Arena rivals any of the top venues to play in college basketball.
At the end of the day, you know, it's a basketball court. They've got a great home court advantage, and you've got to play really well to beat anybody on the road, much less Kentucky, which has the best, you know, home court advantage in our conference, and just a great atmosphere for basketball on a national level. I mean, I don't know that there's any better home court in the entire country.
The Bulldogs will be on in prime time. Tip-off against Kentucky set for 8 p.m. You can catch the game on ESPN and check out the highlights tonight at 10 on WCBI Sports. For the second time in her young career, Mississippi State forward Rickea Jackson is named SEC Freshman of the Week for back-to-back 20-point performances against Auburn and Georgia. In the 2 wins, the freshman averaged 23 points on a blistering 60% from the field and scored a career-high 24 against Georgia. Jackson has already surpassed Victoria Vivians for the most 20-point efforts in conference play by a freshman under Vic Schaefer. She's reached that mark 4 times so far in conference play. North half final soccer going on right now. Madison Central taking a 2-0 lead over Tupelo in the second half of that game. The winner advancing to the 6A state championship. On the soccer side, the winner will face Northwest Rankin and Ocean Springs. And a big one for Tupelo today. They trail on the road. This is the girls soccer team. They trail Clinton 1-0 at halftime. We'll have highlights, recap, all that sorts of good stuff coming up tonight at 10.
Busy night in sports.
Yeah.
Busier day tomorrow.
Yeah, get a good night's sleep, okay?
I hope so.
All right.
A lot of miles on the car tomorrow. All right, we'll be right back. Stay with us.
Rain and storms in the forecast tomorrow, some of which could be strong to severe. Obviously, we'll have more updates on that. New model data will be in before the 10 o'clock show and tomorrow morning. We'll clear that system out, cool weather for the weekend, then we'll warm it up next week.
Friday
Where's
looks
winter,
nice.
you're asking?
It does, and it's the weekend.
This is one day.
Friday looks nice.
One day, Sunday too.
Yeah.
There you go. We'll take it. All right. Thanks so much for joining us, everybody. Have a good night.